Hey there gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and today we're talking about Dynasty Warriors Origins. This is my brutally honest review for it because I just finished playing the game about 10 minutes ago. I literally just rolled credits, and this game was extremely fun. I had a grin on my face for the entire thing. It has everything that previous Dynasty Warrior games have had, like big battles, basically 1 versus 1,000 combat, but it also has a bunch of new stuff. Side quests, branching story paths, replayability out the butt, weapon customization, an overworld map. I mean, Origins is a very different style of Dynasty Warriors, but also it's just a blast to play. Sometimes I feel like gamers have this habit of like trying to quantify fun, saying, oh, that's a guilty pleasure. Oh, that's mindless enjoyment. You know what? This game at times is just silly. Sometimes I wanted to just turn off my brain and mow down soldiers, but I loved it. I loved this game. Yeah, the story isn't the best. Yeah, some of the stuff doesn't make sense, but when you're out there on the battlefield, literally doing a super attack to wipe out hundreds and hundreds of soldiers with a spear that's on fire, just blasting people back, it is fun. But let's talk about the goods and the bads. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. Alright, so first and foremost, let's talk about what a Dynasty Warrior game is and what Origin is, because this is a bit different than the other entries have been. So this is a subgenre called a Musu. It's a game that's basically about you being a super powered soldier, but still having to be tactical in your might. Well, you could typically just run around a battlefield and wipe people out. There are objectives. You can see on the minimap, you can tell when certain other lieutenants and stuff are being attacked or need assistance. So even though you could just like rush and kill the last boss, what makes these games so fun is the morale system, where you can cheer up your troops if they're being attacked by archers. You can flank around and ride your horse up a hill and try and wipe out the archers and make everybody happier, or doing a super attack and killing a bunch of their lieutenants or their mid-ranked generals and stuff like that. It makes your soldiers stronger and happier. So there is this interesting duality where, okay, yes, I probably can just jump into the fray and survive a bit just trying to kill the enemy forces purely by myself, but by cheering up your people, you can make it an onslaught. Now, the part of Origins that feels so different is that this is a prequel. You are going to see characters that you may recognize if you've played other games in the series. So you may see people like Cao Cao or a very young and very dangerous Lu Bu. But what's cool to me is those branching paths. About halfway through the game, and you can create a save file to do each of the different paths, but at a certain point, they basically say, okay, pick a team. This was during a very dangerous point in history, the Three Kingdoms, where there's different groups that are all trying to vie for power to become the emperor. And you, at the beginning, get to be friends with everybody, team up with everybody, do missions with everybody. But about halfway through the game, they straight up tell you, okay, it's time to pick a side. Now, you get a while to kind of pick. You can talk to the characters. You can do missions still to a point with everybody, but at a certain moment, they sort of lock you out, and they tell you straight up on the screen, okay, from here on out, you're going to be fighting people that used to be your friends. There's a chance you may end up having to kill characters that you previously liked or even fought with. And I think this is an interesting dynamic. The guy we're playing this is a nameless hero, and there's different magical implications, some stuff about prophecy that I think that in general, this game is a blast to play. I didn't care for the story very much. I feel like the only two problems I have in this entire game, the entire video here is going to be extremely positive. I ran into two major gripes. One, I do still feel like the voice acting in this game series is just terrible. Every Dynasty Warriors has bad audio in general, but here it is particularly bad. It's not that it's poorly mixed or that the voice actors are weird. It's that something about this just feels kind of robotic. Or sometimes they said words in a way that I feel like it was kind of weird. Like you're attacking a bunch of bandits and someone's like, oh no, they're attacking the brigands. And it's like, is it? I thought it was brigands. Is it brigands? But it's not just that everybody sounds weird. It's that everybody sounds like it's their first time ever reading into a microphone. Some of the lines a bit funky, especially during some big pivotal plot moments. And the other gripe I have is about weapon swapping. Now, this is mostly a good thing. So the nameless hero that we play as, I called my guy Subscribe, but when you're playing it, as you're going through this, you're constantly unlocking new weapons. There's different stuff like spears, polearms, twin axes, different styles of sword that are bigger or heavier or crazier. But what's cool about this is that using a weapon has a proficiency system. Getting better at it, doing bigger mass kills and stuff like that, ups it at the end of the battle. Now, you can do main objectives and sub-objectives. While exploring the world map, you'll occasionally find people that want you to do stuff like wipe out some local bad guys or save a city, but you can also pick up these sub-objectives that say, okay, get 100 spear kills, or use the hoops to try and counterattack 10 attacks, right? Easy stuff that makes sense, but as you level up your weapons, that's what gives you experience points. So while the max level is like 65, I believe, what it takes to get there isn't just killing enemies, it's leveling up the weapons. Weapons is what gives your character levels. But what I always thought was cool is that I like the fact that each of the weapons feels different, each of the weapons feels great, but also you get to pick what you want your special attacks to be. So when you're fighting people, there is this break system. People sort of have staggers. So all the bigger lieutenants, the other super soldiers you're encountering on the battlefield, they need to be staggered. Now you could do this by parrying their blows, by hitting their weak point, by calling in stuff like arrow strikes from your army and stuff like that. But when you weaken them enough, you can do a big takedown. Now it doesn't always kill them, but it usually takes out at least 60% of their health. That's all nice and good. But what I also found cool about this is that while you're charging up this, your different skills, like as you upgrade a weapon or as you do side quests, you get different styles of special attack that are more single target or better for taking on entire swaths of people. Like if you're fighting a guy who's still surrounded by 1,000 freaking bodyguards, there are some special attacks that are basically like a bomb going off. I like that. But here's the one downside, my one gripe about this. I have now beaten the game and I love the game, but I wish there was a quick swap button. I couldn't find it. I found buttons where you could assign potions, stamina potions and stuff like that. I found it where you could do all your different special attacks, of course, but I wish there was a way to make it so I could instantly have favorite weapons. I didn't find it. Maybe it's somewhere in the menus, but every time I wanted to swap a weapon, because you could use every weapon, I had to pause the game and open it up and actually go to the inventory and pick a weapon. Now, it doesn't kill flow that much. It takes like literally 2 seconds, especially because you can pause it, go straight to that menu. But it is one of those things where I wish that there was like an animation where like I could have a thing where like I'm doing an attack, I'm doing a combo, and then I throw a sword up in the air, and when it comes back down, it's a spear, and I keep doing that combo. Again, just a personal taste kind of thing. But I want to talk more about just how fun it is to fight and how fun it is to explore. I'll admit that with some previous Dynasty Warrior games, I'd get a bit flooded by sensory overload, where there's so many different lieutenants that are doing callouts, that are doing commands and stuff like that. You in the menus now can select how much you want the game to scream at you, essentially, because there is a lot of information. There's a lot of different menus and callouts and objectives and sub-objectives. There's a lot going on an individual battlefield. Now, as I previously said, the goal almost every single time is to kill the enemy general. You could technically just rush them right at the start, and sometimes you're successful, sometimes you're not. I definitely had times where I tried it, and it did go good, but most of the time it's better to take on those side objectives. But if your main guys die, if the general you're currently working for takes too much damage, they flee the battlefield and you lose. So you got to pay attention to that minimap. I think they've done a good job of making the information more digestible to make the callouts more clear. You can make it so that if you're very new to the series, you can have the callouts be bigger. You can have the callouts actually pause the game and appear on the screen like you've gotten a new side quest. I think that stuff is a good idea, but I almost think the part of this that was the most interesting of a change that I don't remember from previous Dynasty Warriors is that the way you can heal your teammates, you can actually go to their aid. So if you even run up to one of your generals that's currently getting jumped, you can heal them just by being near them. It automatically heals them. It's like I guess it's like an extension of the morale system of, hey, here's our nameless badass superhero. Now I feel revitalized to keep fighting. I thought it felt really cool too at times when you're working on some of these battlefields with multiple fronts. There's people that are trying to roll in battering rams or rolling in their own ballistas and stuff like that, but there's different generals and stuff that your army is trying to coordinate with. Sometimes it feels awesome to be the Batman of the battlefield, to loop around, to hit different people, to heal up everybody, and then do a big push. If you get everybody on the front lines lined up, there's even special charge commands where you and your people can, as one big bullet, battering ram your way into combat. But you know what's most important about this game? It's just fun. It is so fun. Every weapon feels a little bit different. Every weapon has slightly different combos. So some stuff, even though you just basically have a strong attack and a fast attack, some of the combos, as you up your proficiency, you can do longer combos, crazier combos, combos that break, block faster, heavy combos. I also like the fact that the side quest objectives specifically sometimes say, okay, I want you to do a whole set. You have to kill 500 enemies with a spear attack, strong attack combo. And stuff like that. I feel like I like the fact that this game, it always feels rewarding. It feels like it hits all those parts of your brain that are just so fun of like, hell yeah, I'm wiping out an army. Hell yeah, I perfectly did that combo. Hell yeah, I took out that general in front of all of his forces and they just had to flee in terror. This game is a blast. The parries are fun. The combos are fun. The characters are fun. I loved it. But, okay. So we've heard mostly good and a little bit of bad, but please, let's go over to the ratings board and put a big number on it. I am giving Dynasty Warriors Origins a 9 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching, gamers. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. And yes, we are bringing back the game review scores at the end of the video. I took a break from that in 2024 because I was dealing with family loss and stuff like that. But now it's time to bring back the numbers, dang it. I appreciate you guys watching. God, what a first fun review to kick off 2025. I love you very much. And seriously, have the best day.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.